Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called Fitter Philosophy, in which I basically discuss and present some ideas and perspectives based on practical, stoic, experience-based philosophy, which is non-academic and has got a lot to do with what I've learned going through life. And my topic today is in case of emergency. Because when we go to school, we are taught rather than educated, and this is why our parental influence and family influence and friends and community influence is so important, and often it's quite lacking because it's all part of the human condition, and we get prepared to be economically productive in the world, right? But we really don't get prepared for dealing with life. So our teachers don't teach us that. We have to figure it out and find out for ourselves, which is why at a very early stage it's worth stepping back from all the buzz and white noise of information that we get bombarded with, generally to keep us ill-informed and dumb, and just try and see things a little bit more clearly. And in doing so, it helps us prepare. And one of the things we have to prepare for in life is emergencies. And we don't know what that emergency is going to be. And we don't know when it's going to happen. And it might never happen. Or we might be fortunate in life and have a few small, relatively trivial, manageable emergencies and not have to deal with a massive one, like the sudden loss of a family member or a friend, the sudden disruption of a war over which we have no control, the sudden imposition of a serious health issue, a personal health issue, which threatens our life. These are legitimate emergencies. And there's no school textbook to help you prepare. So let me give you some advice. First of all, mental attitude, a philosophical perspective. It's easy to get haunted by the risk of an emergency, and therefore we should prepare for the best, but expect the best, but prepare for the worst. So we've got to keep a positive attitude going through life and saying, you know, I'm not going to overly anticipate something bad happening. Let's focus on the good things in life that I can manage within my sphere of control, influence, and in my own personal reality. Which is a really good start, having that just positive attitude towards the risk of an emergency. Also is preparing beforehand for an emergency, and it's really quite simple. Having enough cash in standby, having a reserve of cash, and we will not have a reserve of cash if we are squandering money on unnecessary purchases or on having buying habits which deplete our money reserves, like buying coffee every day from a coffee shop, and then having that muffin or toasted tea cake with it. The small costs in life all add up over time, and when you look at the money that you could have saved and put aside for quote-unquote a rainy day, it's quite significant. Smoking cigarettes is another habit. It really is a habit because it's an addiction, and it's very costly, particularly in the Western world. So the money you can save by not smoking, along with the serious improvement of your health, which would avoid a health emergency in the future, is really very significant. So having a reserve of assets, particularly money, so that you can cope with an emergency more comfortably should it happen. And secondly is to avoid emergencies you can know about by taking greater care of one's health. There's no doubt about it, the proof is conclusive. If you smoke cigarettes, or if you drink overly over quantities of hard alcohol, you're going to affect your health, not just superficially in the short term, but significantly in the long term. Smoking cigarettes does lead to lung cancer and other diseases. But then there's something else that we have a habit of, an addictive habit with, which is equally as damaging as cigarettes and the overconsumption of alcohol, and that's sugar, particularly refined sugar, because the modern diet has too much sugar in it, because too much sugar in the diet is addictive and makes people want to consume more, particularly consuming for entertainment rather than for nutrition. And one of the greatest bonuses we can give ourselves in life is at as an early an age as possible is to really address the quality of food we eat, because what we eat literally, physically makes us. And it's not as if bad quality food will affect you suddenly, dramatically, like taking a dose of poison. It's far slower, more insidious, more passive, and in fact, in its own way, more dangerous, because it circumvents our own instincts for survival. So be aware of the food and tip the odds more in the favour of avoiding emergencies, so that we don't have to deal with bigger emergencies later in life. And also there's the emergencies that other people try to impose upon us from their perspective. Other people want to tell us about their emergencies, which are not necessarily ours. And they do a bit of gaslighting, fear-mongering, and psychologically pressuring us. And we have to have self-defense mechanisms. And one of the most effective self-defense mechanisms we have against emergencies is to carefully edit what we see, what we hear, who we believe, what we're told, and understand what's the real mission that other people have when they're bombing us with their emergencies to try and control us personally and directly. And it's simply being cynical, objective, listen more, speak less, understand what people are really saying rather than accepting what they want to tell you. And this will help you avoid many emergencies, because emergencies cause stress. And in my opinion, one of the biggest triggers of cancers, heart disease and ill health is not just our exposure to the wide array of modern chemicals that are around us, but it's actual psychological stress. Stress coming from the media, stress coming from toxic people, from bad relationships. These cause emergencies. Stress is an emergency state, and we need to avoid it. We need to have our own comfortable zone, and if we're going to have people around us, make sure they're good people, positive people, who will shield us from emergencies. I'm Ralph, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, click subscribe, you like, you leave a comment, all the rest. We'll speak to you soon. Bye, gainers.